Hi, I'm Irene. Um, I'm the Angels of Mercy Administrative Assistant and one of the Board of Directors. I've been on the board since 2016 when I first came to Angels of Mercy. Um, I started helping in the office because I had just left a really challenging job, and I wanted to find a ministry that serves women and vulnerable people. I have several loved ones in my life who have experienced domestic violence, so I felt especially pulled toward this kind of work. And in some of my travels, I had seen firsthand what was very clear to me to be human trafficking. So upon returning from a trip, I was seeking out some kind of ministry work that would deal with either domestic violence or human trafficking. I'm not really sure why it was so strong in my heart, but it was. And then I saw Angels of Mercy on a community resource list, and I reached out to Mary Jo, and I'll never forget that interview because my face hurt so badly from smiling, because meeting with Mary Jo and Josie was like two people I've known all my life, and I just felt surrounded by such love and enthusiasm. And they told me that my reaching out to them was the answer to their prayers because they needed someone who could help them with administrative work. Being here in COVID has been really interesting because we've seen an uptick in people who are calling in crisis, needing to leave difficult or dangerous situations immediately, or who have left situations and were starting from scratch and would take anything they could get. So we've seen a lot more of those situations. A lot of the women that we serve have experienced homelessness, domestic violence, human trafficking, chronic disease, substance use or mental health disorders, and just other life controlling circumstances. So really we'll serve anyone. Those are probably the most common situations that we've seen, but we have seen an increase. I think we've probably served more women this year than ever before. Many agencies that do similar work are unfortunately closed or operating on limited hours. I remember on my first day here ever, back in 2016, a woman came in and she was very sad and she was crying, and Mary Jo and the other volunteers rushed around her and showered her with so much love and were throwing different outfits at her and suggesting things for her to try on. And by the time she left, she was in smiles and she was so jubilant, and you could feel the energy in the air. And that's how it is every time someone comes in. And even on the phone, right now we can't have people come in, so we're taking orders on the phone. And people call and they sound down. They might seem maybe embarrassed to be calling. And by the end of the phone call, when they find out they can get nail polish or jewelry or any kind of fun accessories or shoes, they're so excited because it's not just finding something to wear to stay warm, but it's something that they can express themselves with after having had someone take away their autonomy and take away their personality and make them feel like nothing, and they can be themselves again and treat themselves the way they deserve to be treated, with love. And just they know they're special. And it's really important to us that every person that calls, we make them feel special and valuable and worthy of love, and worthy to move forward. And we really do see that. I can't begin to say how many women have reached out and said how grateful they are for their outfits and how they feel just so inspired and loved. And it makes a really big difference, and I'm just so honored to be a part of it.
Welcome to Angels of Mercy, the home of the Butterfly Boutique, the New York State Office for Dress a Girl Around the World, and Stop the Trafficking and the Cycle. I am Mary Jo Colligan, the president and founder of Angels of Mercy, and it is my pleasure to do what we do here, changing lives each and every day. Our ministry helps women attain freedom, dignity, and restoration, and to realize that they are loved regardless of what has gone on in their past. They deserve the best in life. Many times women come in here that don't feel worthy of anything. Perhaps they're looking for a garment, and I call them garments of grace because that's exactly what they do when they come to the Butterfly Boutique. But, or whatever it is, or a phone call or whatever, they need to be treated the way that God would want them treated. His children, His princesses, because He is our King. And Angels of Mercy has helped thousands and thousands of women over the 14 years that we've been in existence. So you may ask, why did I start this organization with the help of my husband and a group of women around my table? Well, I'll tell you, I am a survivor of domestic violence from my first marriage, and I knew back then I was going to do something. It was in my heart, something to help women who had been through difficult challenges. And it wasn't until a little more than 14 years ago that this came to fruition. That was when we realized that my youngest daughter had been through traumatic lifestyle, things that happened to her that should not happen to anybody. It was not of her own choosing. And so therefore, seeing what she'd been through and realizing how it affects the parents and the whole family, we felt that we needed to start Angels of Mercy, giving women a purpose, letting them know we're here for them, that their story matters, because we all have a story, and no matter what it is, it's precious and it's ours, and nobody can take it from us.
Hi, I'm Rebecca, and I have been affiliated with Angels of Mercy since, I want to say 2011 or 2012. I can't really remember, but it's been quite a bit. I became affiliated. I'm a domestic violence survivor. I had been in an abusive relationship for about 8 years. At that time, I lost practically everything. I lost my job, everything. He was controlling, abusive, the full gamut of everything. I got a scholarship to go back to school at Monroe Community College because at that time I thought maybe I want to work in human services, and I had to do an internship, and I thought maybe I wanted to work with domestic violence survivors to help give back. And I connected with Mary Jo, and she said, yeah, come on in, and you can do your internship here at Angels of Mercy. So I loved it. I came in. Just walking into Angels of Mercy, you get that feeling of, wow, it's amazing when you step foot in this door. Just the feeling that you get from all the wonderful volunteers that work here. So I got involved, and I sat in on a committee for one of the fundraisers that they were doing. And to flash back a little bit further, when I was going through everything with my ex, I remember saving a newspaper clipping about a woman who had been killed in Webster, New York. She was a victim of a domestic homicide, and I remember posting that and keeping it on my billboard to remember that really could have happened to me, because that's how bad my relationship had gotten. And if it wasn't for law enforcement to help me get out of my situation, that could have been me. So I kept that clipping up on my billboard, on my bulletin board at home, just to kind of remind myself. Well, flash forward to being at Angels of Mercy, I remember sitting in on a meeting and meeting all the wonderful volunteers and all the angels, and that's when Mary Jo started talking about her sister. And I never knew that was her sister. So I like to say that Marissa sent me to Angels of Mercy. Okay? That's how I got to Angels of Mercy. And flash forward ahead to where I am today. It's because of all the wonderful things that Angels of Mercy does to help women and survivors of domestic violence. And it's just a wonderful experience. the best way to explain it is that I remember before I met my ex, I had been, I had a great job. I was in fundraising. I had a career. I was successful, but he slowly took all that away from me because he was so controlling. And I remember trying to get a job, and I would look at my resume and look at myself in the mirror, and it didn't match because they take away all of that from you because it just doesn't match. And your self-esteem is just, you don't feel like the same person. But when you come into Angels of Mercy, you become a new person, and it's through the grace of God and through the volunteers here and all the wonderful work that Angels of Mercy does. You become a new person.
My name is Josefina Lopez. I'm from New York. I moved here about 10 and a half years ago. When I moved here, I was on DSS because I was in a shelter before I moved here for 7 months for domestic violence case. 5 kids, and moving here, no job. I have my brother, my mom. They helped me with whatever they could, but I'm always being independent woman. So I went to welfare to open a case, whatever help I need. And of course, they give me what they call the WET program. So you have to work, give so many hours for the benefit that you get. So no problem with that. I never have a problem. I always say that my kids are mine, not the government kids. So I had to work for my kids. And they give you like a little questionnaire, like a test. And so they can put you in the place that you will be more helpful or that you will be happy, So when, according to the question and my answers, so I remember the social worker, she told me, I'm going to send you to a place that you're going to love it. I was like, okay. I was so excited, kind of. So, and when I came, they sent me here, I came, I interviewed with Josie first, and then with Mary Jo. And we connect really good. She was so exciting, her laugh, her personality, she's so friendly and make me feel welcome. And through the years that I served on Angels of Mercy as a volunteer, I used to open at 9 o'clock, close at 3 o'clock, Monday through Friday. It was my job, and I think I did it really good. The dresses, making those dresses for those little girls and the doll, that was something I learned how to do that. I know a little bit of sewing, so it was the perfect place for me to be. The sewing, the clothes, helping people, making the dresses and the little doll for little girls, and then to another country. And I know a little bit how it is being from another country. We was blessed, I would say. My father and my mom, they always worked really hard to keep us whatever we need in their ability. But I used to see a lot of little girls, like walking with the raggedy clothes and no shoes, and just seeing this, making these dresses. They are so beautiful. And through the years, the style, the women start improvising and changing a little bit. They put a little bowl, and I don't remember exactly when, but we got a woman drop off our dress, and it was made out of t-shirt. And it was so like, wow. So we start asking for donation for t-shirts. It was so, it turned out really good. So many people start buying t-shirts and donated. Something was really exciting, and it was like a teamwork. They request 10,000 dresses to send and a ship, and it was 10,000 dresses. That's a big number. And Mary started sending emails and messages, and it turned around in an amazing way. We got dresses from everywhere. Even women, I think they never saw. They started sewing dresses, and packing those 10,000 dresses was a challenge. We started using those big vacuum bag, and so we could put as many we can and just vacuum the air, and it was unbelievable.
Okay, so you may have heard about our Dress a Girl Around the World program. This is one of our most special projects, And what truly made me start thinking about human trafficking and what is it really? Because when I was invited to a friend of mine's house one evening, she said, "Come on over, we're going to be making dresses." And they were this style, sun dresses made out of pillowcases back then. And the reason being was these were being made to send to other countries to help prevent sex trafficking. Now, I gotta tell you, I never thought about that before, and in all the speeches I've done in the churches I've been in, I've never said the word sex so much in my life, and that's the truth. Because I never thought that little girls would be violated by these sexual predators in different countries. When a little girl is wearing a dress that covers them up, it makes all the difference. Now we have some different styles of dresses that you can see. In other countries, little girls are running around with little or no clothing on, or clothing that's all ripped and tattered. And you may wonder, what does that mean? What does that have to do with it? It has everything to do with it, because that puts them at risk. It shows people that they may not be being cared for by someone, may not have a family. So they are taken into this horrific world of trafficking as young as 2 and 3 years of age. And many times they cannot get out, and then they're moved from country to country. So my heart was totally taken by this, and I went back to our board and I said, you know what? I'm doing this project whether you want to or not, because it really just means so much to give a little girl hope and a future. So I've got to tell you, this has been a project that we began about 11 years ago, and I'm so happy to say at this time we have sent out over 750,000 dresses to keep young girls safe. And being the New York State rep for Dress a Girl Around the World, it's amazing. And that's just here in New York State that we've sent out that many.
Hi, I'm Deborah Labello, and I've been a part of Angels of Mercy for almost, I would say, 10 years now. I met Mary Jo. She was doing a presentation at church, and when I heard her vision and her mission, it was like my heart just jumped out, because I also am a woman who want to advocate, want to see a lot of women free from the bondages that they've been in. I myself have been in recovery for 11 and a half years, so this is something that's a passion for me. And when I heard what Mary Jo was doing with Dress a Girl Around the World, and how she, reaches out and educating people on sex trafficking. We deal with women who have substance use and mental health issues. And our connection just has grown over the years as she has grown over the years. And with my job and being placed in a job in behavioral health, I deal with women that come in that have needs. So we used to be able to bring them here. When I would bring in a client, the welcoming is so warm that my heart gets emotional even right now, because these women that come in have not felt love in a long time, have not felt good about themselves, and some of them are in such a situation that the need for clothing, and they come in here and they feel like it's Christmas, and the women just, they help them, they engage with them, and let's see how this top looks on you, and let's give her and what kind of purse do you want? And sometimes it's more than what they've even expected.
How have they kind of had an impact on you personally, and how has their empathy touched you?
As you can see, in many ways. Mary Jo has brought such joy to me. And in a time of my life in early recovery, I was one of the women that were in need. And she was there. And she would always be like, you can always come to me when you need, excuse me.
No, you're fine. Thank you.
You can always come to me, she said, when you need something. And even as time went on and I was bringing my clients, she would still, if you need something, you let me know. And you know, our sizes changed throughout our life, and she has beautiful clothes and she shares them, you know, and I can still come. This is an outfit that I just got right before Christmas time. I needed something and she came in, you know, and she's like, oh, look at these pants. These are gonna fit you, Deb. You're just gonna love them. And she's like, oh, look at that shirt. And that's just how Mary Jo is, you know. Oh, look at this. You gotta have this. You gotta have this. And that's how Mary Jo is, you know. So my personal experience with her is just very close, jovial, and a very anointed relationship. We both love the Lord with all our heart, and we share, again, the same as in her vision. And definitely, we're all on a mission, okay? We're all on a mission to help the women out there. But yes, it started with her helping me. And, you know, I did want to share something else, okay?
Sure.
So there's many times that these things go on, but this time was really significant. We went out on a walk for domestic violence. And then we came back here, and she had, you know, some punch and drinks and some goodies and cookies, of course. And then we all sat around the table. And I shared that I had 10 years clean and from alcohol and drugs. Being addicted for 20 of those, the last of those years, my addiction became very out of control, of course. There was a woman sitting next to me, and she started to speak. Now, my name is Deborah. Her name was Deborah. And she said, if you didn't say that, she spoke out. She said, thank you for sharing that. And she had tears in her eyes. And she said, if I have 10 months clean, 10 months clean, I have 10 years clean. Her name is Deborah, my name is Deborah. So there's things like that that are no coincidence when God brings you together in an anointed place.
I'm Carrie Ann Blaine. I've been volunteering with Angels of Mercy for 5.5 years now. I guess I will start off by just kind of talking about what sort of led me to the trauma that ultimately brought me to where I am today. So I had a very normal upbringing, a happy upbringing. I had 2 loving parents, no kind of mental illness, drug or alcohol abuse in my family, middle class, you know, everything that would kind of set you up for success. But it's ultimately what made it hard for people to understand what I was going through when I went through what I was going through. I think people expect when you're addicted to drugs, or when you're in abusive relationships, or you're in jail, or you're in rehab, they kind of expect you to have been brought up that way, where it's kind of in your future, or it was the cards you were dealt, and that was not how it was for me. I was I think 16 or 17 when I first started becoming dependent on alcohol. It affected my grades. It affected my friends who I hung out with. It affected who. It basically led me in the direction of other bad things. So in college, one day I was walking through the park and this guy came up to me and said, "Are you in love with anybody?" And I said, "No." He was handsome. He was older. He took my number, and the next day he picked me up in his BMW motorcycle. It was confusing for a 21-year-old, for someone to give me that kind of attention and for his kind of status. Fast forward, that relationship became sexually controlling. I was like his little girl, and he took care of me, or what he thought like was taking care of me. I would call the police, or the neighbors would call the police, or people who heard me screaming, but when the police came to the house, it was like, she's crazy, she's drunk, she's don't listen to her, like, this is my house, look at where look at me. Do you believe her, or do you believe me? And of course it was I believe him, and I decided I was going to get out. So I left and stayed in a hotel, and got out of the relationship. I stayed with a friend until I could kind of reestablish myself. I knew that I could make money with the way that I looked, some sort of sexual appeal, and so I danced. I worked at a few different clubs. I could hardly kind of keep it together unless I wasn't drinking or doing something. Like, I was very, I was uncomfortable, I was anxious all the time. A drink would relieve me, and I could get up and do my job, and then kind of go back to, I was actually trying to stay a little sober during that time. I think soon after that is when I went to rehab for the first time. I went to rehab just for alcohol. I knew I had a problem, but again, like, there was no real consequences yet. Like, there was nothing really like that was like, all right, I really need to stop. So I one day decided that I could make money again, somehow taking advantage of men. And I felt like men kind of deserved it. Like, first, men had hurt me in the past, and I thought that if I could do something that controlled them, that I was kind of in control. The job that I had, I was working full time, but I was making maybe $300 to $400 a week. So for me, like, $600 for an hour's worth of work was, I couldn't compete with that. So I think people get in this position because of, it's like short-term, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like you don't think about the long-term effects. You don't think about like, my 32-year-old self. How is that going to hurt me? And this is like also a good indication. Like, I was sober, but I was like doing all these other things that were just destructive for myself. Then I slipped at work and broke my elbow, and they put me on pain medication. The pain, I was taking it as prescribed, but as soon as I ran out, I felt something was missing. I didn't kind of, I knew this might happen, but when it happened, I almost like invited it to happen. I almost wanted there to be an excuse to go out and get drunk or high again. I called up that ex-boyfriend that I had been with for a while. I asked him to come over, but I didn't know he was back out using. So he came over, he had been on a bender. He fell asleep, and I searched his bag, and I found a crack pipe. He showed me how to do it, and that was the beginning of the end. That drug is hard for me to talk about because of how how controlled I was over that drug, how it made me feel, how it took my life away. And it almost killed me. And I was like, this is gonna be my life. It's just gonna be a cycle. It's gonna never have any progression I make, it's gonna fall right back. I need to make a serious change. I started looking for jobs and then also looking for places that I could volunteer, because I felt like if I could get myself in a group of people that weren't necessarily in recovery but had like some sort of want or need to help other people, that maybe helping other people would help me. So I found Angels of Mercy and I talked to Mary Jo and I said, you know, I'm just moving back here. I didn't really go into details. At that point I was maybe a month sober, not even. And I said, I just need something to do. I need something to like care about. I need people around me that can support me, and I just want something to do. And so I just put myself into something. Soon after that, I got a job in Syracuse, and so I was kind of like back and forth helping remotely. But I have stayed with Angels of Mercy ever since, for that whole idea of like helping other people and what it can do for yourself, giving yourself some sort of purpose outside of yourself, and giving yourself something to like love and care about that has meaning. It just kind of end on a good note. Like I've stayed sober ever since then. It's gonna be 6 years in February. I met my husband 6 months after that, who is not in recovery, has no mental illness, and who is my age and who is amazing to me. I also have dreamt of being a mom my entire life, and I couldn't be a mom, obviously, because I couldn't take care of myself. And now I'm a mom to 2 children, which is also like insane.
I want to talk a little bit about child sex trafficking and what is going on worldwide. This has turned into about a $150 billion a year industry, with a third of that taking place right here in our own U.S. It is really horrific to think about kids in the mean age of 12 to 14 being lured into this. And you may wonder why. Well, someone may notice that they are downtrodden at some time, or maybe they look like they need a friend or something. So they try to win them over by being a friend, by maybe asking them to come to their home for dinner or something like that, and meeting their needs in ways that they hadn't been met in quite a long time, and perhaps maybe never before. Many children who are in the foster care system, by the time they age out, at 18 years of age, they are on the street, and within 48 hours they are picked up by traffickers. And it's all about selling children for sex, making money. It is all done by force, fraud, and coercion. And this is something that has really, really impacted our society more today than ever before. So what do we need? We need to educate people on what it looks like. We need to get into your homes, your schools, wherever you are, to give you an anti-human trafficking awareness event and let the kids know what it looks like, what to look out for. Social media plays a huge part in this. And many times people say that they're someone that they aren't. And so kids being vulnerable or looking for someone to love them will, befriend someone of this nature. And we need trauma-informed care for these victims. So Angels of Mercy is here to help. We are here to give you the tools that you need and to refer you to someone. So if you know anyone that has been victimized by human trafficking in any way, shape, or form, please contact us and visit our website.
I gained my freedom 100%. I also gained restoration. I became a new person, reborn again, with the work of renewing my faith. I remember also being part of Angels of Mercy. They were with me when I also lost two of my brothers, pretty close together. It's just that renewed faith that God is with me. You know, I'm not alone.
When I moved here, I left all my friends behind. Friends from church, and it was hard. You know, I'm really friendly, but I don't call everybody my friend. So, and these women are my kumari. They teach me that word. And I asked, I said, what kumari? Kumari means friend, family. And that's something that I'm grateful, because not only Mary Jo and Josie, even that I get in contact, you know, I keep in contact with them, but Gladys, Norma, Gigi, you know, so many other women that wherever they see me, they, Josefina, you know, that you feel the friendship, the relationship.
So when Jesus came to set the captives free, he needs people that believe in him to be his feet, to be his heart. And in the mission, as a mission, you have to step out. That means you have to do outreach. You have to make yourself available so that when you see someone who has no idea, or they've been caught up in sex trafficking, what it does to them mentally and physically is horrifying. But to be the hands and feet of Jesus and just to love on them and engage with them, that's what the mission is. Okay? That's where Jesus, you are the person that he's using, and then Jesus comes in to set them free.
It's really important to have places like this where there's no hidden agenda. Like, we're here to help other people, and we do it without any judgment. We know that people have been through a lot that come in here and need help, and as did I, but I was never asked, you know, what's your background, or you know, what drugs did you do, or whatever. Like, it was never a concern. It was just like, how do you need us today, and what can we do to help? And those are the kind of non-judgmental interactions that I think help people get sober and get help through whatever they're going through.
Thank you for joining us as you took a glimpse of what goes on at Angels of Mercy, who we are, what we do, and know that your support means the world. You make a difference, and we are so very thankful.